All right, then. So we have some college hoops again tonight, and we have another couple of great games. Like, I will say this, my midweek has been much better having great basketball games to watch. Like last night, we got Michigan State, we got Kentucky, we got Kansas, and we got Duke. So tonight, another couple of heavyweight bouts. We have Arizona at number 3 UConn. We have number 11 at number 8 Illinois. And I'm wondering what the total is in that game because I see those two teams and I'm like, offense, 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 pace, pace, pace. But let's start off by looking at this Arizona and UConn game because you look at it and I'll say this, it's already, I think, difficult for me this early in the season to have really strong stances on teams because again, like how many games have they played? Like 4. But I will say of anybody, it feels like Arizona has one of the best resumes of wins. Like I know wins don't matter in college football, but in college basketball they absolutely do. And so Arizona started the season with a win against defending champions Florida 93-87. And then they had a big win over UCLA in their last game on Friday, 69-65 in that one. And Koa Pete, their diaper dandy freshman, has been fantastic so far this season. So UConn's going to have their hands full. I do believe UConn is 4.5-point favorites in this game. And UConn, of course, is a great team that's returning, some star players from last year. Alex Caravan, it feels like he's been there forever. So they're 4-0 coming into this game as well with one big win over BYU on Saturday, 86-84. But I will say this is a home game for UConn. And I think it's going to be rocking. I do think home court advantage matters in this one. But I do think this game should be closer than maybe this line indicates. Do you have a takeaway in this game? Do you have a prediction? Or do you say, hey, it's very early in the season?
So it is all of those things. It is always tough to factor in because this does feel like a very new thing for college basketball to be playing these sorts of games to this point in the season. Like usually we'll open with a couple of really good games and then you kind of go your separate directions until you get like the Maui Invitational. But that's a select location. That's a neutral site sort of thing. Arizona traveling across the country, we don't really know how that impacts teams on a regular basis yet. Like we're still getting more information because it's still very new. With that said, though, Chelsea, this feels like more of a feel play for me because I cannot imagine and I cannot hope that we're going to get 3 consecutive games with highly ranked matchups that are blowouts the way that we did last night. Duke covers that 11.5. The Michigan State, that wasn't a sweat for you at all. You might have sweat the first quarter or the first media timeout period. But outside of that, Michigan State blew the doors off of Kentucky last night. So I'm hoping that Arizona keeps it close enough with UConn to the point where this is entertaining in the late stages of the second half. And it does feel like that Arizona, over the course of years, always does play really well in the non-conference in the beginning of the season. I think back to matchups where they played Gonzaga really tough in years past when Gonzaga was at the height, and when they played Duke really tough in years past when Duke put together really good teams, which they do on a regular basis. So I would be leaning in favor of Arizona in this one solely because I'm hoping to keep it. I'm hoping that the games are close and that I do think Arizona is a really good early season team.
That's where I was leaning, but like this line's already moved a couple points from last night. So when I was doing my research, this line was 4.5. Now it's all the way up to 6.5. So clearly somebody's big on UConn, but the bets over at BetMGM as of right now, 71% of the spread bets are on Arizona. So I think for me, it's just when you see volatility in college basketball, like especially with the resume that Arizona's put together, because just from a logic standpoint, you say, okay, it's tough to go on the road and play in a tough environment against a really good team. But it feels like even 4 games into the season, Arizona's already battle tested. Like playing Florida and UCLA, 2 of their 4 games so far this season, and they've won both of those. That is a big deal, especially when your best player is a freshman, because obviously that's when the questions come in is that, okay, he's a freshman, he's really talented, but can he be great from the jump? The answer has been yes for Cole Pete.
The line movement, though, does scare me a little bit. So you said 4.5. When I was giving my soliloquy, it was 5.5 on BetMGM, and it's now 6.5. So in the
Yeah.
span of a very short period, it's jumped multiple points and moved and dancing and doing all these things. That leads me to believe that there's some big time money that is coming in on UConn as we speak here. That is what makes our position very, very tough. Let's play the woe is me here. We're tasked with finding a side right now, hours before the game. There's going to be a lot more movement. We don't have all the information. So while my lean would still be in the direction of Arizona, I'm a lot more cautious just based off of what has happened in the last 90 seconds, 2 minutes with all of the line movement.
I get what you're saying. And I will say yesterday, like the game that I followed, the line movement was correct. Where we were talking about Michigan State and Kentucky, and that line was 5.5 when we were doing the show, and it got down, I think, to 4. So clearly people were believing in Sparty, and it was the right side. But I'm here to say, like, it's not always correct. It's not correct 100% of the time. So we'll see. And I do think if the odds makers thought that this line was 4.5, and now it's all the way up to where it is almost a 3 possession, win that you're looking at for UConn to have to do over Arizona, I think I'm still going to take the points.